Welcome back to Calling All Angels. I'm Dottie Souza, and we have a special guest today, Beverly Courville, who is a Reiki master teacher and also a Theta practitioner. Welcome, Beverly.
Good morning, and thank you.
I know that you do some great things with your Reiki and whatnot. Can you tell me a little bit about the Reiki before we start speaking about angels?
Okay, Reiki, as you know also, it has been in the United States basically since 1939. It came by way of Hawaii. A lot of people are saying, well, what is it? It's energy healing. And it's something you learn. You're attuned at various stages. We have different levels. First, second. The second is where you learn your symbols. The third level, you learn more symbols. And all it does is empower your healing ability. And we go through sessions. It's placing of hands in different positions. We use the 7 chakras to bring in, to balance the body. And most people find a lot of relief. It's for mind, body, spirit. It brings everything all together. If someone has any issues, whatever they may be, Reiki will help them. It's guaranteed, and it does work. And you don't have to have any belief in any special God. It just works because we're all of energy, and it seems to zone in on whatever area needs help.
Good. And with the angels, do you feel a special connection with them? Do you call them in for help when you're doing the Reiki sessions?
Yes. Before I have a client come in, I will sage them, smudge them with a sage of either sage and various herbs or Palo Alto. And before I start a session, I always call in the 4 archangels, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, and also Yusi Sensei, who brought Reiki into the United States from Japan. And it seems to work. It's very relaxing. Most clients, it can be either done on a massage table or in a sitting position if you don't have the luxury of a massage table at your disposal at the time. I've done it many times with people that I've felt in different areas, and I'll just breathe and get them relaxed, and I've done it with them sitting in a chair, so you don't need the massage table. It makes it easier, but it's not necessary.
Do you feel sometimes that the angels are guiding you to specific areas or even to specific people?
Yes, most definitely. I have walked in a room and for some reason something just calls me to that person. It directs me. And I'll just say nicely, if I know they don't feel quite right today, could I have 5 minutes of your time? I'm not going to touch you. You don't have to disrobe. And I'll just use my symbols on them, and they relax and they breathe much easier. And a lot of times I'll get the remark, what did you do? I feel different. And we'll go, that's the Reiki energy.
Yes. When did you feel you first connected with your angels?
I started with my angels at a very young age. I have a collection of it. Everyone who knows me, wherever they go, they'll see a unique angel, and before I know, they bring, oh, we got this for you. So I have a house full of angels. There isn't a room that doesn't have angels in it. But myself, I've always felt their presence around me. They've guided me. At times I've heard like little things like, don't do that, or go this way, and it has proved very helpful to myself. You can feel their presence. It's a lighthearted feeling. And once, it happened a couple of months ago. I was in the middle of something, and I was in my room, and all of a sudden this little white feather came down, and I went, oh my God, where did this come from? And I could feel something was going on, but that was the first time I had a presence of an actual feather in a house that, if I was outside, I could have said, well, it was a bird, but not in my study. So things do happen, but you do feel their presence around. It's just an uplifting energy.
And do you feel that when you call them in that you have a better insight, a better feeling?
Most definitely. They sort of awakening a feeling that you have, and they do guide you in your hand positions with Reiki. Most definitely. Well, Reiki goes where it's needed anyway, but they more or less will guide you like you've done the whole body, whole person. Something calls you back to a certain area, and that's where you'll go back. And it's them saying, go back, they need more.
Oh, that's awesome. During your lifetime, have you ever had, or you felt that the angels were helping you in a special way other than Reiki?
Yes. When my dad was passing, I was really overwhelmed a lot. And I could feel them around saying, he's going to a better place, you have to let go. And I have found by working with hospice that even though we say to someone we love, it's okay to leave, they can tell if you really mean it, because no one is ready for death. Everyone says, oh, I'm ready to go, but everyone struggles to the last minute to hold on. And if there's family members there that are saddened, which we all are, but they're holding back and not saying it's okay to go, they don't. They will go when the body completely fails. But it makes it easier if you give them permission. Just like when you give someone Reiki, you have to get their permission. You just can't go and do it to someone, or you can't do it at a distance. You have to let them know and get their permission to do Reiki.
That's interesting. My father too, when he was passing, he was in the hospital for 3 months, and I always felt like he had 3 angels around him. And he had a trach at the time, and unfortunately, but I would walk in the room and I'd say, how many angels? And he would hold up 3. So they were already, I think, getting him ready for the transition when he did cross over. And I felt that when he was looking up at the ceiling, that he was not looking at the ceiling per se, but actually in contact with them, like they were getting him ready. And I think that made his transition a lot easier, considering what he was going through. But yeah, the angels are amazing. I had an experience this week with somebody who came into a shop and had no coat on, and it was the day that we had all that hail, snow, sleet, and she had no coat on, and she had nursing scrubs. And I said, that's odd that she doesn't have a coat. And she purchased some items, and then she, I just was drawn, and I know I was drawn by the angels, to ask her what type of work she did. And she said that she worked doing crisis for people, helping people out. And in fact, on her way there, she had taken her coat off for a woman who was 62, who was homeless, that was living in a car. And oddly enough, we had received donations the day before. And something just drew me to this one particular bag. And when I opened the bag, here's all these sweaters, those turtlenecks. And so we pre-wrapped, not wrapped them, but packaged them. And we gave it to the woman to give to this other woman. So I believe that, we have our heavenly angels, we have our earth angels. And around this time of year, of course, with the holidays, we have a lot of miracles going on. And so with that being said, they work 365 days a year. But for some reason, we're more aware of them this time of year with the Christmas movies and all that. So it makes it good. It makes people feel good. It helps people, makes more people aware of what's going on. So do you have any other stories of different things that's going on in your life?
A lot of things have happened in my life where when my mom was in the hospital, I was doing a lot of Reiki, and I met a lot of doctors and a lot of nurses, and they would ask me what I was doing, and I explained to them, and a lot of times I said, if you've got a 5-minute break, I'll come around to your desk, and I just did my little thing, and the only thing I asked them to do is take off their shoes, because in Reiki, when you take out anything negative, you have to put it back positive, and we draw it. We start at the top, and we draw it out through their feet. So that's about the only thing that I have done many, many times. In fact, my sister would come in and she says, there she is, she's doing it again. And they go, well, and the gratitude that you get from it, because especially in the nursing profession and when they're in the hospitals, there's so much stress. And they need to release it, but how can they? They have to stay professional, and they have to keep on the go. When a buzzer is ringing, they have 3 or 4 or 5 patients, and they have to manage their time. So it sort of helped them, and I felt good about it. But another thing that we're speaking about angels, and if we need or want angels to help us, we have to ask them. Definitely. We have our free will, but we need to ask them. You can just call out and say, I don't know what your name is, but I need you to help me, whatever, in every situation you are. And there are several books that depict all different angels for every single profession or incident or issue that comes up in a person's life. And it's very interesting once you start reading about all the different angels that are out there. And a lot of people today, I think more and more people are believing it, and it's believing without seeing. So even though we have a lot of doubtful Thomases out there, I think there's less and less.
Did you feel that when you were drawn to start Reiki, do you feel that they helped you do this, or was it just something that came on to you that you knew that you needed to do Reiki? What do you feel drew you to that place?
I first found out about Reiki in 1988 while we were in Florida visiting, and a friend of mine worked in a hospital, and she mentioned about this nurse that did the Reiki. And she said that she was having a demonstration, so we went that night, and I found it very intriguing, and I felt something a little bit more, like an angel was saying, this is the path you need to be taking. And then when we came back to Rhode Island, I was mentioning it to my husband, and he said, and he was mentioning it to this woman that he worked with, and she says, you won't believe it, but I'm a Reiki master teacher. He's, get out. And she says, no. So we got together. I studied with her for a while, and then I had my first attunement in January of 2000. And I've been doing it ever since. The last 3-4 years, I've been really doing a lot more. And it just is, you're there, and they sort of guide you. I feel as though the angels guide me as to a certain specific person that needs help, whatever it may be. It may not be a physical issue. It may be a spiritual or a mental issue. And I mean, I just go for what they tell me, or what they're trying to guide me to find, to help a person. And it's very gratifying to see someone who's in this little ball, like they're so stressed out, and then all of a sudden they're relaxed, and they say thank you, and you go, no problem, it's my pleasure. And this is what you get. You get a lot of gratifying feeling from helping people.
When you're doing your Reiki sessions, do you feel that ancestors or angels or whatever come into the room with you?
Yes. In fact, the last person that I did, I could see this most beautiful angel. I believed it was an angel, but then I was looking, it wasn't an angel, it was an ancestor. And it happened to be this woman's grandmother. And I said, oh, and then I was describing her. And she said, well, I knew you were on that side of me, but I felt something tugging me on this side. I said, she was on that side, and she had your arm. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but she had a smile on her face. So it had to be a good thing. Oh, and I have had several times that happening. And it just more or less overwhelms myself that they do come in, and it's like it's a calling for them, that they need to be there to give that word of encouragement. And it's usually a person who's stressed out over something, and this person knows of the connection, and they more or less tell them you're on the right path, or keep doing what you're doing. And it's very enlightening, to say the least, because I don't think 20 years ago I would have been doing what I'm doing, as I was in a totally different profession for many, many years.
Right. Amazing. I know that from what other people have told me, you've done wonderful work and helped so many people. And they feel so much better when they come off that table, and they feel more empowered, as well as healthier. They feel more empowered. So you do really do wonderful work with them.
Thank you very much.
You do wonderful work. Now, I also noticed that lately you have learned a new modality, Theta.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Theta, you're working as a witness to the creator of all that is. And you go through certain phases of it. It's amazing, and it can be incorporated with other modalities such as Reiki. A lot of people say, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and I feel as though if the angels are telling me this is what is needed, follow their lead, and that is what I've been doing. It's basically a very intense course to be taken. It was we did a 2-day course, and we started at 9 and we went till 5, and we really didn't even have like an hour break. I had everything all set up where we had a lot of pickies, a lot of food, so if we had 5 or 10 minutes, we were just doing it and going along with it. The instructor, who's a teacher, and she is a teacher in Theta, Linda Hogan, she's awesome. And she has been all over. She's even been with the Dalai Lama, and that's saying a lot. She's been all over the world teaching Theta and learning more, and it's really something. That is another thing, that you do not have to believe in the Buddha. You don't have your religion is whatever you want it to be, and if you don't have a religion, if you're an atheist, you can practice that also. It's because you are a witness to what is being done. You are not an instrument per se. You are asking for the help of the Creator that all of is. And that's the most beautiful part of it. Much like Reiki, you do not have to believe in any specific religion. You don't have to have a religion because it's energy healing.
Right. Oh, the energy is an amazing thing. You can walk into a room and it can just bring you down. On the other hand, if you call in angels and call in your guides, they can bring that energy back up. And you can just feel it, and that's the amazing part. And I know when you start your Reiki sessions, I know you have that energy level up there, which is a good thing. You know, for people who haven't experienced, I highly recommend that they experience a Reiki treatment. It is not only relaxing and healing, but I think when you get off that table, that you have a different outlook.
Most definitely.
Things. And when this happens, it can open up other doorways for other ways of you to heal. Because I know that feelings affect the body, and if after a session your feelings have changed, then there's more healing going on than, like you said, emotional, mind, body, and spirit. So I think that this is an amazing thing. And what you're doing is really amazing. Now you also, with the Theta and the Reiki, I noticed that a lot of people are drawn to you. But I also noticed that, and I've seen you in action, just being in a room, you kind of light up the room. You bring that intensity up, and people start to smile where they weren't. As they walked in the room, they weren't smiling. When they do walk in the room, they start to smile. They start to converse. They even open up sometimes. And this is a really good thing. So there's a lot of angelic virtues around you. And part of you is maybe a little bit of an earth angel yourself. And I think we should be grateful for healers like yourself. I think that we should be drawn to people like you who are in that right frequency. I think that by doing this, we're helping ourselves. And we're not just helping ourselves, but I really believe that we're helping our family, our friends, our coworkers. Because if we're feeling good, and we're feeling that high frequency, high vibration, and we're calling in the angels, then, you know, how can that not be good? We're bringing a joy into our lives that we don't normally or wouldn't normally have. And you're a very big part of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, very big part of that. Now I know that you have children, and you have a son that you worry a lot about. And I know that you surround him with angels too, because he's a police officer, correct?
Yes, he is.
Right. So every day, not only do you heal other people, but you protect those that you love. And that's shared by your sheer belief in them. And they've taken good care of them so far.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for them. Another thing that I will state is that every student that I've ever had, or anyone that I've given Reiki to, I always tell them the first thing in the morning, before they get out of bed, when you put your feet on the floor, just call in the angels to protect you. Feel their love and their angel wings around you. Mm-hmm. And just keep thinking of that through the day. And if you're getting into a situation where you're getting frustrated, just say, okay, angel, whomever you are, please help me through this moment, through this day. And they do.
They do.
They really do. And I have had more people come back to me and they go, you know something, it really works. I go, yeah, it does. Yeah. And you just have to know that they are there. When you ask for them and call upon them, they do. You may not physically see them, but you will feel them around you.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And, you know, I am very passionate about it. And I know that once somebody actually starts to call in their angels, they will notice the difference. And then they will be passionate about it also. It is, it's free. You know, they're just waiting there for you to call them in. They're just waiting for you to ask them, you know, stand by my side. If I get into trouble during the day, you fix it. And they will. And this is the beautiful thing about it. So many people are having so many challenges right now, and all they really need to do is just call those angels in. You know, believe. They say ask, believe, and then receive. And this is very, very true. If you ask for help and you truly believe it's going to be okay, then it will be. They will come through for you. And that's the most amazing part of the angelic realm. They're there waiting for you to say, okay, let me in. They're like little children wanting to help. And I'm really glad that in your practice that that you have no ego, that you give your faith and your trust in them, and that comes out in your Reiki practice, obviously, from what I've seen. There's a lot of people out there that say, oh, I heal, but no, you don't do that, and that's a good thing, because it's not you, it's them. And by you acknowledging it, I think you have a stronger gift through them, and that's an amazing thing. What else do you feel that you want to share as far as Reiki or angelic realm?
See if people can go to some Reiki shares. Reiki shares are usually Reiki practitioners at first, second, third level, whatever. If they've had any Reiki training at all or have attunements into Reiki. And usually there's a group that will get together. But if they know of anyone, I always say, if you know someone who needs help, there's no charge. Just bring them along for the night. And you'll have 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 people working on one person. And it's all their energy. And it's so intensifying that when a person comes off a table and there's been 3 to 4 people working on them, they just feel so different. And it's ironic how they can feel the different person's energy, because we all work at different levels. If you have more symbols that you've been attuned to, you're empowered even more, and they can tell if someone's at their head or at their feet or on their arm or on their knees, their hands positions as the intensity of the energy that they're feeling. And I have experienced it many times. I've done many, many Reiki shares, and I think it's the most beautiful thing, and there's no charge. And actually, if someone is in need of a Reiki session and they financially cannot afford it, just mention it, and there isn't a charge. We all Reiki practitioners that I have met, and I've met a lot, all feel the same way, that there shouldn't be a charge for healing and helping people. If they're calling in for a session and they want that, and that's something different. It is different. But when you do Reiki shares, it's just awesome to have people come in and get off that table and say, wow, I feel so much better. They breathe. You can see the difference in their face, their whole body movement. I had a person that had a real problem with his knees, and he could just about walk. And whenever he got off that table, he said he could not believe it. He said he hadn't had that freedom in about 4 years, where he could actually move his legs and his knees weren't hurting him. Amazing. So when you hear and you see that, it makes you just feel great.
Yes, and for our audience, they can, if they are unable to find a Reiki share, they can write into Calling All Angels 444 at yahoo.com, and we'll guide them to whatever shares that they can get, you know.
Yes, there's quite a few that, I know there's one down in Warwick, and it's the 3rd Tuesday, and I know there's some in East Providence. The schedule changes, but you can go into their calendars and just look to see who's having Reiki shares, and and if you can't do a Reiki share, you know, just say you would like to, but your finances aren't to a point, and they will accommodate. That's the whole thing about Reiki, is giving and healing.
Yes, they do. That's amazing. So definitely if they write in, we'll definitely send them to the right good, as you are, Reiki practitioners. I truly believe around this time of year, too, that they will really benefit more. You know, with the stress of the cooking and the cleaning and the getting all the family members in, that's a little bit stressful. A nice Reiki session would really work for them. I know it definitely would work for me. I'm really grateful, Beverly, that you came today. I'm grateful of what you do for others. You really help others, and you're doing what we would say the angel work, our angel work, an ongoing helping of others. And I really hope to have you back again, because you have so much knowledge, and you help so many people. And it's a good thing.
Thank you. It would be my pleasure to do so.
Okay.
Just let me know.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. And so for my viewers, I would like to say thank you for tuning in. Again, if you have any questions or if you have an angel story or miracle, please write into callingallangels444@yahoo.com. I read all the emails, and maybe we can have you on the show. I really do hope that you tune in next time. And again, thank you, Beverly, for all that you've done for us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.